Okay. 43 Mailmen fight the Germans. The first battle of World War II. All right. We were focused for the American Revolution for a little while. Now we're in World War II quite often. Not mad about it. Ignore me just a little bit. I had to take Benadryl. Apparently, I'm still sensitive to tomatoes. Fun fact. Woke up just like, yeah. So check your ingredients, y'all. Make sure you pay attention to what you're consuming. Okay. That being said, this is the Fat Electrician. Let's go. Sound up? Okay.
All right, let me set the scene for you. It's September 1st, 1939. It's Friday, but you've got a job. You've got stuff to do because you're a Polish mailman and you just got to work. So you grab your packages and you set out to go deliver the mail. And right as you step outside the post office, a bunch of armored vehicles pull up full of German SS soldiers and they inform you that you're going to surrender or else. Do you A, surrender, or B, go back in the post office and proceed to get in a firefight with the Germans for the next 19 hours?
I know the
Today
answer.
we're talking about the most gangster post office of all time and the first battle of World War II, when 43 Polish mailmen went toe-to-toe with the German SS for 19 hours. But first, a word from our sponsors. This video is brought to you by my favorite sporting goods store, Shields. They've got over 35 retail locations all across the United States. And if you can't make it to one of these incredible retail locations, they also have an even better online store that I'm going to have linked in the description down below. And of course, our newest sponsor, Zaka Life Go Balm. It's made in the USA, 100% organic, full spectrum CBD balm that you can put on any ache, any sprain, or athletic injury, and it's going to make it immediately feel better. This is one of the few times that
Balm. BALM. Took me a second. I've never taken CBD in my life. Never tried it. Never taken it. I heard that it's got stuff that it does, and that's great. Maybe someday I'll try it.
any sprain or athletic injury, and it's going to make it immediately feel better. This is one of the few times that I've actually approached a company to rep their product and not the other way around, because I actually use this stuff. Okay, I'm 30, I'm fat, I've been doing construction for years. Things hurt. This makes it not hurt. So if you're in the same boat as me, go ahead and give this stuff a try over at ZakaLife.com. Use the discount code FAT5 to save some money. Let's get back to the video. All right, important background info. This is the German Empire before World War I. Got it? Okay, great. This is the German Empire after World War I. Notice how Poland cuts it in two, and at the very tippy top of Poland, there is the free city of Danzig. Okay, what is a free city, and why does that map seem to imply that it is its own country? Well, because basically it is. It is its own sovereign entity with its own passports, its own currency, and its own form of government. You see, at the end of World War I, when they were negotiating the Treaty of Versailles, both Germany and Poland really wanted dominion over the city of Danzig, because as you can see, it's built on the coast of a perfect geographic harbor. This made it a major port city and an economic powerhouse, which is why Germany and Poland were both fighting over it, and they were fighting over it for so long that it would end up holding up the entire Treaty of Versailles. And finally, the League of Nations stepped in, and they're like, hey, okay, well now neither one of you are going to get it. It's going to be its own sovereign entity, its own little thing, whatever, we don't have time for this, moving on. So the Free City of Danzig was founded in 1920. However, considering that pretty much the entire population was either German or Polish, Danzig decided that they were going to grant a bunch of extraterritorial properties to either country, and one of those properties would be the Polish post office, which was just that, sovereign Polish territory. And that's pretty much all the background info you need. So fast forward to April 1939, things are getting real tense between Poland.
Okay, so let me get this straight, and I might have this wrong, and that's okay. Remember, if I misspeak or if I take something wrong, I have no problem taking criticism. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Correct me. Just know that I can't go back in time and fix it. Some people in the comments are like, you didn't do this. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I can't go fix it. So from what I'm understanding, geography is like my least favorite subject. In fact, it's not because I don't care. It's just I suck at it. So you got Germany and you got Poland, and they're fighting over Danzig. And finally people were like, we've had enough. Neither of you get it. You know, when you have siblings fight and the parents are like, you know what? Neither of you are getting it. I'm going to keep it for myself. Okay. So it's its own sovereign nation. But then they turn around and they start granting land to both countries. So now Poland has its own standalone place inside Danzig, and so does Germany, right? So like, I mean, my brain says like embassies. Like, so where that territory, that post office is like a Polish safe space. I know that sounds stupid. I'm trying to understand it. Am I completely off base? It's okay if I am. I'm okay with that. I think I get the general concept. I might not have it perfectly on point. What is that? His microphone? Dude, sometimes I feel like I need a new microphone. Sometimes. Okay, that's a cool looking building though. What you want to bet they've done ghost hunting there before?
Pretty much all the background info you need. So fast forward to April 1939, things are getting real tense between Poland and
19
Germany.
years
Hitler's
later.
been in power for the last 6 years, the Nazi movement is well underway, and for the last couple of years, a ton of hardcore Nazis referred to as the brown shirts have basically been trying to intimidate Polish people to move out of Danzig so they can reestablish it as part of Germany. Poland, seeing this, decides, hey, they might try something soon on our extraterritorial properties, so we're going to take a single army combat engineer by the name of Konrad Gudurski. We're going to send him over to the post office. He's going to help fortify that position and teach all the mailmen how to fight. That way, hopefully, they'll be able to hold the post office for like an hour or two while the army has time to get in there and defend it. So Konrad shows up at the post office. He's got a bunch of pistols, some carbines, a couple of crates of grenades, and 3 Browning 1928s, which as you can see is just the Polish equivalent of the American BAR. At this point, there's 56 people working at the post office. Konrad
You do understand that I don't understand any of those references, right? For the record, all of my friends, my artist and YouTuber friends, have been like, yes, next time we come to Houston, we're going to teach you how to shoot so that I can get me a firearm. Because I don't feel comfortable, like, without having some kind of instruction. And you'd never have guessed this, but I'm kind of shy to go to the gun range. I've never been there and be like, hey, so I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. I kind of feel stupid doing that. So they're like, oh, yeah, no one's come to Houston. So I don't understand any of these. I understand their pew-pews. That's about as far as it goes. He's like, oh, it's the equivalent of this. And I'm like, yeah. To me, it looked like a rifle, right? I would assume with the stand, it's a sniper rifle because you would steady yourself and look. I'm trying. I'm trying, y'all. Yeah, it looks like a long range rifle.
Polish equivalent of the American BAR. At this point, there's 56 people working at the post office. Konrad explains the situation, says he's taking volunteers for who wants to be part of the security force in case shit goes down. 42 people volunteer. He then begins training them and giving them a battle plan, and everybody else is just going to go run and hide in the basement if anything does go down. So for the next 4 months, Konrad is both training the mailmen and building up fortifications. He ends up establishing one of the mailmen as the second in command, and that is Alphonse Flizakovsky. All right, fast forward September 1st, 1939. It's Friday. All the mailmen show up. They start getting their packages together. And while they're all in the post office getting ready to go out on their routes, 180 German SS soldiers roll up with 3 armored cars equipped with 20mm guns and cut the power to the building. Okay, it is like 4 o'clock in the morning and the German military just rolled up and cut the power. The mailmen are like, oh, we're doing this. All right, so they go, they get their guns, they head up to the second story and stick their guns out the window pointed at the Germans. And it is now a complete standoff between the German SS and the Polish post office. So they're having this military grade standoff, and then a bunch of civilians start showing up, like newspaper journalists and radio stations, and people are breaking out cameras and they're recording, and then just a giant mass of civilians shows up to watch. And as it turns out, they've all been invited by the Nazis to come and bear witness to the great German military retaking the city of Danzig. So once they all show up and get the cameras up and rolling, then the head of the SS walks forward and makes an announcement to the front of the post office, basically saying, hey, why don't you guys just come out and surrender, give this post office back to the Germans that you stole it from. Clearly he was anticipating that a bunch of mailmen would just surrender, turning over the post office completely intact, making a great piece of propaganda for the Nazi war machine, showing that the Polish were just surrendering at the mere sight of the great German army. But what he got instead was 43 Polish mailmen that responded with,
how about no?
So now the leader of the SS is absolutely
I don't know if he edits all of his own stuff, but like, absolute win for these inserts of these little clips. They're perfection. They usually are. Is that like a thing where people are like, oh, bow before the mighty might of this army? Let's bow down. They look cool on screen. Like, I mean, ironically, that's what they were going for back then. You know what my favorite type of reel to watch is? Even though I know a lot of them are fake, and I don't care, kind of, just because it's cool. It's a zombie remix, and it's the military. Like, they're running on the treadmill, they're running backwards on the treadmill. Like, you've seen them. If you know, you know. I love those. Every time I'm like, yeah, let's go. And I hate the ones where they bring, oh, it's gonna tear me up. I hate the ones where they bring the soldiers home. They make me sad. Not because it's just sad. Okay? Anyway, I don't necessarily look at someone's army and go, oh, I don't know what to do. Probably because I think our soldiers are the most badass in the world, but okay.
Of the great German army. But what he got instead was 43 Polish mailmen that responded with,
How about no?
How about no?
So now the leader of the SS is absolutely furious because his little publicity stunt just backfired, and now the Polish mailmen are making him look bad. So he's absolutely gonna attack. But here's the thing. He has to attack and try to preserve the post office itself to not destroy the building, because that's the whole point. They're trying to reclaim the city, not destroy it. But then nothing happens for like half an hour. It's still just a standoff, and the Polish mailmen are like, are we fighting or not? What's happening here? Are we just gonna stand here all day pointing guns at each other? What's the deal? So they waited, and they waited what felt like an eternity, but in reality, it was only half an hour, because at 4:45 a.m., there would be a huge explosion off in the distance, and that explosion would be the guns of the German battleship, the Schleswig von Holstein, firing on a Polish military outpost. And these are the first shots of World War II, officially starting the invasion of Poland. This would also be the signal for the SS to begin their attack on the post office as they open fire. Here's the thing with that. The mailmen were inside of a brick building on the second story with machine guns, and the 180 Nazis were standing out in the middle of the street with 3 armored cars. So as soon as the Polish defenders opened fire with their BARs, the Nazis realized that they had made a strategic fucking error, as all of them frantically ran, and all 180 of them tried to hide behind these 3 armored cars. So now all the Nazis are pinned down behind these 3 armored cars, and
I'm sorry, I mean, okay. Take it with a grain of salt. How cool is this to have footage? Was the whole situation, let me just I shouldn't have to clarify this. The whole situation was terrible. Nazis, intimidation, trying to kill each other. Okay. But how cool is this to have footage of this day, the first day of World War II? Like, for real? I don't know why I keep forgetting that they had camera video. I forgot. I know. God, we've come a long way in 100 years. We're like, basically, we're going so fast with progress and technology that we're going so fast. It's like when you're going down a hill and your feet are just going. You're like, God, I'm going fast. And you just know at some point you're going to trip. It's going to hurt. That's how I feel like our progress is going. Just an opinion.
Fucking error, as all of them frantically ran, and all 180 of them tried to hide behind these 3 armored cars. So now all the Nazis are pinned down behind these 3 armored cars, and the 3 armored cars turn their turrets with their 20mm guns and begin firing on the front door, trying to break it in so that all the soldiers can rush into the building. So the mailmen, realizing what they're doing, they grab their rifles, their grenades, and their BARs, and they run downstairs and set up firing positions behind the service counter of this post office, as all the guns are just aimed at the front door, waiting for the Germans to break through it and rush in. Okay, do you understand what I'm telling you right now? World War II literally started off like a shitty joke. 180 Nazis walk into a BAR. So the Nazis finally blow open the front door, and 10 of them come running inside, to which the mailmen are like,
"You've got mail."
4 of them are killed immediately, and another 6 are wounded as the entire German advance screeches to a halt, and they turn around and are forced to retreat as they come to the painful realization that the Polish mailmen are quite literally hitting their birth certificates with the return to sender stamp. Now, to be completely fair, there's another battle happening at this exact moment in Danzig over in the naval shipyard. However, it is entirely within the realm of possibility that these 4 Nazis were the first men to die in World War II, and it was from mailmen with machine guns. As soon as the initial wave of Germans fell back, there was a huge explosion on the other end of the post office. Konrad Gadersky takes off running towards it with nothing more than his pistol and some grenades. As he gets there, he turns the corner, seeing that the Germans had blown an enormous hole in the brick wall of the post office, as he begins throwing grenades into an entire platoon of Germans attempting to advance on him before being gunned down. Konrad was credited with killing 4 Germans with those grenades and giving the postmen just enough time to get to that position and defend themselves, again driving the Nazis back and forcing them to retreat. And again, we don't know this for sure because there's another battle happening at this exact moment, but it is entirely within the realm of possibility that Konrad Gadersky has just become the first man to give his life fighting against the Nazis. With the Germans retreating and Konrad Gadersky down, the second man in charge, Alphonse Flizikowski, rises to the occasion and begins instructing all the other postal workers what to do, getting them back into a fighting position, anticipating a third attack. But the Germans are so mad and so embarrassed that their publicity stunt is failing this bad that they don't want to risk it, and they decide that they're going to call for backup. Bear in mind, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning right now, and the Germans wait 6 hours until they can get reinforced by the regular German army, and they can show up with artillery. They had to show up with 2 75mm field guns and a 105mm gun just so they could bombard the entire post office. So they start bombarding the post office with fucking artillery and then send in another attack, and they're still pushed back yet again. With German command.
Okay, stupid question. I'm full of stupid questions. Artillery, like a cannon? I understand the mechanics of it is a little bit different. I understand they're not lighting a fuse and then waiting for a cannonball to go flying out. It's actually probably a bullet, like a big one. I get that. I'm understanding. But I'm like, basically, it's like a big cannon type vibe, right? That's what he means by the artillery. He's talking about like a standalone, big gun, big bullets, right? I'm just asking.
And then send in another attack, and they're still pushed back yet again. With German command having no idea what to do, they just start using everything they have. They get mortar teams out there, and the mortarmen start trying to drop mortars on the post office, but they're so inaccurate, they end up posing more of a threat to the Germans than they do to the Polish mailmen. So they have to call off the attack, they issue a 2-hour ceasefire, and tell the Polish guys, like, hey, you got 2 hours, think about it, you should probably just come out and surrender. Over the next several hours, the Germans would dig underneath the wall of the post office and plant 1,200 pounds of explosives.
Damn.
The Germans would then blow an enormous hole in the post office wall as they rushed in to ambush the mailmen. But the Polish mailmen refused to surrender as they retreated back to the basement, where there was one way in and no way out. And yet again, the Germans have no idea what to do from here because the Polish mailmen are just sitting at the bottom of this staircase with 3 Browning machine guns waiting for them to try to come get them so they can gun them down. And the Germans have no idea how to proceed. At this point, the German commander comes to the realization that these mail carriers are not going to quit defending their post office as long as there is a post office to defend, and he is just going to get rid of the entire building altogether as he orders the Danzig Fire Department to begin flooding the basement full of gasoline. The mailmen immediately recognize the smell and begin evacuating the basement as quickly as they could, but not before the gasoline would be ignited by a grenade, killing 3 of them before the rest could escape. With the building burning and nowhere else to go, many of the postal workers decided that they wanted to surrender, but Alphonse Flizikowski and 5 other men knew that if they surrendered, they would not be treated well by the Nazis, so they decided that they were going to try to run and escape. The other 36 mail carriers decided to surrender, leaving the building under a white flag. The Germans immediately shot and killed the postal worker that was carrying that white flag and took the remainder as prisoners. Of the other 6 postal workers that escaped, Alphonse Flizikowski and 1 other would be captured the next day on September 2nd, as the other 4 would actually escape and get away. This would bring the total count of mail carriers that were captured to 38. Over the following days, 10 of them would die in the hospital due to injuries they sustained during the battle and during the fire. The remaining 28 were then declared illegal combatants by the Nazis, and they were all sentenced to death. This decision would later be declared a war crime because these men were not illegal combatants. They were trained and led into battle by Konrad Gadersky, an active and serving military officer in the Polish military. Under his command and the command of Alphonse Flizikowski, 43 mailmen went toe-to-toe with 180 German SS soldiers reinforced with artillery and armored cars. 8 of them would die in combat, taking with them 10 Nazis and injuring 22 more. And those are just the official numbers from the Germans, which are most likely understated due to their extreme embarrassment. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go check out thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Do I still wait? Y'all give me shit every time. You didn't let it play out. It's played out. It's at the end. Am I good? I'm just giving you shit. Um, let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. I was hoping that that story had a better ending, but it didn't. It's sad. 4 people got away. That's nice. You know they executed all of them. Good for them. They stood for what they believed on. They stood on what they believed. They defended to the best of their ability, and I'm not mad at that. It's awesome. I'm glad. I'm happy for them. I wish it. You know what? Here's the thing. The Nazi. They didn't stick by the rules of war. And here's the thing. Technically, nobody really has to. Because if you're in a war, you have to win. I don't know how I feel about that. Yes, there are ways, it's always been an honor system back in the day, but now nobody has any honor. Have you seen the news? Have you seen the way that people are moving nowadays in all walks of life, in all countries? People have no honor. None. So do I trust that people would stick by rules of war? Of course not. Back in the day, that was just how it was done. If you had the white flag, there was just rules, okay? They didn't care. They just shot him anyway. And that's just pathetic. It's like almost like the way that the Nazis ran things were like either they were going to win or they were going to lose spectacularly, because there was no in between. They had crossed too many lines, and they were so arrogant that they're like, we're so superior that we can do whatever we want and you don't matter. Therefore, we don't care. What do we care what people think of us? We obviously think we're superior to everyone else. So what do we, and I mean, they were terribly honest about it. We don't care what you think. You are not us. Therefore, you don't matter. You're a piece of shit under our shoe. Your life means nothing. They were very clear about that. So why would you ever believe that they would follow any kind of generally accepted rules of war? Because as far as they're concerned, we're useless. It's like, as far as they're concerned, we're bugs, and if they want to squish us, they will. That's how they handled it. Because of their superiority or belief in their superiority. I don't know. I think they were pieces of crap. Anyway, but use that term loosely at everyone every time someone says something you don't agree with. Yeah, let's do that. People are assholes. Anyway, they don't put the title up there anymore. It's rude. This was 43 Mailmen fight the Germans, first battle of World War II. It's sad that they passed away. They gave it a good try. I mean, they're mailmen, for fuck's sake. Who knew? Oh, I can't wait for this Benadryl to kick in. I'm telling you, it's not going to put me out, though. Benadryl never does. Does it put you out? I don't know. Super awkward, unprofessional, and I need to really pay attention to what has tomatoes in it and what doesn't. Outro. Take care of yourselves and each other. Remember that you're valid and you matter. Don't let anyone tell you different. Life's too short to deal with schmucks. On that note, I am out. I gotta go. I have to drink this water because yeah, it's a thing. I gotta flush all of that out of my system. My face is swollen. My head hurts. I'm on the struggle bus, y'all. Happy hump day to you. I'm out.